Welcome to the DataWorx P3K demonstration setup tutorial. As a result of the demo setup, the Productivity3000 PAC ladder logic will insert production data from PAC tags, such as flow and temperature, into a database via DataWorx P3K, and we'll use 3 different example triggers in the ladder. Next, it will locate a recipe in a database based on a PAC tag, such as RecipeCode tag, and have DataWorx P3K write the recipe database information back to the PAC tags, such as recipe flour and recipe sugar. We will then review and compare results via an internal web page that we will create ourselves in the browser-based DataNet Enterprise software. We'll go over the workflow between Productivity3000 Suite and DataWorx P3K. First, let's start with our target database. Locate the PlantOperations.mdb file in the P3K demo folder. This was part of the preparation files. Select the MDB file and click Open. The 2 main tables we'll be working with today are the production data table and the recipes table. Let's take a look at the production data table. Here's the structure of the production data table. The first field is ID. It is currently set to be a number. Specifically, it is set to be an auto number. This will increment every time a new record is added to the production data table. The next field is the date timestamp, which is a date-time data type and has a default value of now. Every time a record is added to the production data table, the date timestamp field will automatically be filled in with the current date and time. The next 4 fields will be provided from the PAC. First is flow, and then temperature. Each of these is a number. The last 2 are the PAC Date string and the PAC Time string. Each of these is text. Switching over to the datasheet view, we see that the production data table currently has 18 records. Our goal is to add production data records using 3 different triggers in the ladder logic. Finally, we will also work with the recipes table. Currently, the recipes table contains 10 records. Here is the structure of the recipes table. The first field is an ID. It is an auto number. The next 2 fields are text fields. Description, which provides a descriptive name of the recipe. Code, which is a short code to represent the recipe. The PAC will later use this code to look up a particular recipe in the table. The next 3 fields are the specific values for our recipe. Specifically, for the demonstration, the flour and sugar fields will be written back to the PAC for a specific recipe. Now that we're familiar with our destination database, let's start in the Productivity Suite. Our first step will be to confirm that we have the tags we need, and then export the tag database to a tag database file. Open the Productivity Suite and click Choose PAC. We'll scan for the PAC. Click Connect. Click No, use the PC project. Next, click File Open and browse for the P3K demo Productivity Suite project. This was provided as part of the setup files as well. Click Open. We will click Use PC Project to continue using the file we just opened. Let's review the sample triggers. The first rung is hooked up based on a SIM module switch. This would be a good time to update your PAC hardware configuration. Go to the Setup menu, select Hardware Config, and expand the base group. Highlight the local base group. Our demonstration configuration is set up with a P3-16 SIM module. Double-click on the module to include the tags in the tag database for this module. Go ahead and close the hardware configuration window. Our next trigger is based on a value called the trigger, which has already been added to the demonstration database. Scroll over to the right, this trigger gets automatically reset. At the far end of rung 1 and rung 2, we will later be adding a DataWorx request instruction. Let's proceed to the next rung. The third trigger we have set up is a timer. The bstart updates boolean gets turned on, and while it's on, the simple timer is running at rung 5 is an example of how the PAC date and time are concatenated based on the current system tags, clock month, clock day, clock year, clock hours, minutes, and seconds, and placed in the PAC data tag and the PAC time tags, respectively. We will be using these tags to populate the PAC date and time strings in our destination table. On rung 6, once the timer is complete, it will trigger the DataWorx instruction that we will be adding as part of our demonstration setup. Finally, on rung 8, we have a trigger for a recipe lookup. The DataWorx instruction that we add at this location will look up a recipe in the database and write back the flour and sugar values to specific PAC tags. Let's go ahead and look at our tag database to make sure we have the tags we need in order to populate the production data table with the flow and temperature values. Double-click on the tag database entry. The tags we are looking for are called flow and temperature. If we do a search on the names, we see that we don't have any pre-existing tags with the word flow in them, nor with the word temperature. Let's go ahead and add these two tags. Flow will make a simple integer. Temperature will also be an integer. Temperature and flow now show up in our tag database. Let's close the tag database window. Select the File menu, Export, Tags. Browse to the destination path. Let's put the exported tag database in our P3K demo folder. We'll call it the Productivity Tag Database file. Click Select. Click Export. Click OK once the export is finished. That concludes Part 1 of the tutorial. Coming up next in Part 2, we will work in DataWorx P3K to create a new device configuration. We will import the Pro3000 tag database and create new device procedures. The first one will insert production data into the access table, and the second one will look up recipe information. Finally, we will export the device procedure list to use later in Productivity Suite. This diagram shows where Part 2 fits into the overall workflow. Please feel free to contact us with any questions.